Alright, what's going on everyone? It's PickyChoco, and in today's video we'll talk about some interesting news. So exactly who is this new divine Adepti, how much powerful they are, and what important role might she play in the future lineup, and her impact on the following reruns, which is very interesting. New 2.4 possible CHASM banner, and the explosive and the most awaited characters that might be a part of it. And before starting all of this, I'd just like to say one thing. If miHoYo successfully plans and integrates the reruns and the possible big characters, the period of 2.4 to the commencement of Sumeru might be one of the best ever. So before we get into all of that, if you're new to my channel and love watching these type of videos, do subscribe as it helps and motivates me a lot, and also make sure that you won't miss on any latest news and stuff related to Genshin like this. Alright, enough talking, let's get into the video right now. Boom! So firstly, we'll try to clear the air about the reruns and try to link it up with the CHASM and the 2.4 possible characters and the banners that of course are my personal speculations and not any sort of leaks. So for this part of the video, I won't pop off any screenshot. I'll just try to give my overview assuming that you've kept your ninja sense active. So for 2.3, I've gone over this numerous times, and for me, ALBEDO seems a best choice. Now for the reruns of 2.4 and ahead, this is where things start to get pretty much complicated and interesting. So after studying the current sentiment and the old rerun patterns that are indicative of miHoYo's rerun strategy, I personally think that 2.4 might be a Ganyu and 2.5 a XIAO rerun. Hold up, let me tell how. So 2.4, according to the 42-day patch gap, is around January, and 2.5 is around February if I'm correct, which is of course the same time period these characters were released exactly a year before. So that might be a perfect time for them to release these characters. But at that time, since it will be a new year, players including me will be expecting some new content apart from just reruns. So after assuming and going through all of this, for me 2.4 would be the best time to get an experience of CHASM, as players have been waiting for this moment for long enough, even before the release of Inazuma. So if we count this assumption, I'd like to mention few things about the CHASM. So firstly, there's an assumption made that CHASM is a part of Sumeru, which I'd like to clear by saying that CHASM is not an entire part of Liyue nor Sumeru, but acting as a connecting bridge for both of them. And because of this, I'm assuming its area to be similar to that of a dragon spine or the islands of Archipelago. Now talking about the characters and the banners, if we take reruns into account, this is where things start to make a connection. So apart from the new content and the new areas, from the arrival of the CHASM, people are also expecting to get their hands on a new element, which is dendro. And if we take a look at dendro right now, the only character we know is BAIZHU, which is making everyone assume that he might be in 2.4, which I personally don't think might happen. Hold on, let me tell why I think so. Now dendro will be introduced as a complete new element, having a set of unique and different reactions about which the players won't have that much of an idea. So of course there will be some initial confusion between the players, because the rerun characters have already established themselves as the dominant units that have been well balanced by miHoYo, and if they release BAIZHU during this period, who's a most hyped character since 1.2, chances are that because of this initial adaptation and the dendro confusion, players, mostly the F2Ps, might hesitate to summon on this character, which is what miHoYo might not want, and it might not be the best marketing strategy. So instead of BAIZHU, maybe provide another dendro character so that players might get introduced to this new element. So this is how I look at the possible characters that might be for the reruns or 2.4. And if CHASM kicks in 2.4, trust me, it will be one of the best things happening. Now moving on to new Adepti, as we know, the most interesting things to all the players including me are the characters. Now most of the upcoming characters are seen to have their mention in the present characters' voice lines, and in few cases their names also seem to have some sort of cultural reference. And among all of this, SHENHE was the one that caught my attention. Now as we know, Liyue is said to have its roots from the Chinese culture, so according to that, SHENHE has two different meanings, one of them being a district and the other being a divine crane. And this is what I found out to be interesting. So in terms of naming, we currently don't have anyone who's named as the divine crane, but in terms of appearance, we have someone more like an Adepti that resembles and fits the description of a crane, ninja sense. So what if there's some sort of a relation between SHENHE and the divine crane? What if they know each other, or more likely are a single entity having a transforming power, ninja sense? Because let us be honest, the Adeptis like XIAO and Ganyu have their origin origins and appearances linked to the divine creatures. Most astonishingly, even Yanfei, who's said to be a half Adepti. So what if Shenhe is some sort of a divine Adepti whose origins might be linked with one of the creatures we've seen recently? I would highly suggest to use Ninja Sense for all of this. So in general, I want to say there will be tons of new characters, but proper connection on MiHoYo's behalf and proper planning from the player side for the reruns or the new characters will be an important factor, and hopefully all the players get the characters that they want. So that's basically it for today's video. Just thought I'll update y'all on the latest news of 2.4 possible CHASM banners and why BAIZHU might not be a part of it, and some Shenhe speculations which everyone is excited for. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you're still with me with the very end of this video, please leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed, consider doing it so, as I'll see y'all in the next video with some interesting new news. Until then, stay safe and stay picky.